We know from the beginning of the conflict, the bombing campaign in Gaza, many civilians have died. We have raced past 11,000 civilians. Based on one accounting, the US government says they believe that's an undercount. To put it in perspective, that is 1 out of every 200 people in Gaza has been killed. To put it in perspective in terms of the children, 4,609 children have been killed. Here's a visualization from the Washington Post. Every one of those dots is a child who was killed over the span of 5 weeks. Some of their names have been picked out, but every one of them had a future, in theory has a family. Every single dot on that image, and if you're on mobile, you can't even see the individual dots, but there's a lot of them. There's 4,609. Every one of those is a tragedy that should cause people to stop and to question why things are going the way they're going, why more isn't being done, because that 4,609 is not the accurate number, because from today, while we've been broadcasting, more dots can be added to that list. More will be if things continue, and everybody in charge seems to think it's perfectly fine to continue in the way that we're going. But why should we be surprised that so many civilians have been killed? There have been strikes against refugee camps, residential neighborhoods, bakeries, water towers, solar panels, fishing boats, schools, hospitals, mosques, and churches. All of the places that, sure, yes, in some cases, Hamas uses, but also civilians use, and the toll just keeps going up. And you can see it mapped out week by week here. Just like every one of those bars and the top shaded portions are just the kids. How this isn't a bigger focus nationally. To put it in more perspective, here is a log of children killed in major conflicts, the amount and over time. And you can see that Gaza, like sure, more children killed in Syria and Afghanistan. Over the course of like 125 months, this is 5 weeks. If you look at the monthly average of child casualties in conflicts, history is being made right now, the most tragic sort of history, because over 4,000 on average per month being killed. There is simply no comparison in any other conflict that we've experienced. And every one of those conflicts down there, Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, Iraq, are themselves horrific tragedies with massive tolls in terms of human suffering and loss of life. And yet there is nothing like what's happening in Gaza right now. And so when coming out of all of this, what we can get is Joe Biden like looking down at the table, looking at his hands and talking as if he's thinking about what he's gonna have for lunch. Like, no matter how concerned we are, no matter how fired up we are, it is not enough in the light of what we are seeing. Ida, what do you think?
I hear you. I agree with you. I don't know if my friends who are in Israel and in Palestine are still alive. I ate with a woman whose house was on the Gaza border, who had a mural up that wanted peace, and she would invite people from the Gaza Strip as well as, which are not allowed to come over, but she had this mural where she was praying for peace because she wanted it. Her house was on that border and that town is gone. And, I think about the people that I met that treated me like a human being, because I did get treated poorly in Israel as well. I did get pushed by a man and they were like, he thought you were Palestinian. I'm sorry. That's what my tour guide told me. I couldn't say anything. I'd had to take it. And because I was not in my country, and I was not safe. But I think about the people that I did meet that were like, we don't want this. We just want a peace. We want our kids not to walk around with machine guns. And when I think about when I went to Ramallah, and I just think about the children, like I was around little kids, and I sit here and I think, everybody has all of these, I've seen some of my fellow comedians. I've learned a lot about people in the last couple of months. I've learned about how some of the people that I thought were my friends are racist because they don't value brown life. They don't value Black life. And they do, as long as it doesn't interrupt their white comfort. And that for me has been very painful to see and to watch. You know, as a human being who gives a damn about other people, I'm with you. I am for the people, and that's what I've always been for. This whole picking sides, and I'm a Red Sox Democrat or a blue Yankee, whatever y'all do, that people have taken these sides without any care or consideration or any real information. I'm for the people. I've always been about the people. Human life is valuable to me, all of them. And I don't value one over the other. But we are not going to sit here and pretend that this that is happening right now is not real. And that is the problem that I have with some people.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.